What's up, family? Man, I want to have a heart to heart with you guys. Man, it's one thing to trust God. It's one thing to trust God, and it's something totally different to trust somebody else with your heart. You know what I mean? You can have all the trust you want in God, but sometimes after you've gotten your heart broken time after time, after you've gotten hurt and just disappointed time and time again, it's something totally different to put that type of trust in another person, or to allow yourself to be opened up and exposed like that to somebody else where they can hurt you. So often in growth and development, we say you got to heal, and you do have to heal. Stay with me, we're going somewhere. You do have to heal. You do have to grow the fuck up. You know what I mean? You have to understand why you've gone through what you've gone through. You got to understand the process. You got to understand the lessons of what you went through. You got to be able to forgive the person or the people who've hurt you. You got to forgive yourself for allowing yourself to get in that position to where you were dogged out and used and taken advantage of, and you didn't have healthy boundaries and blah, 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 blah. You got to forgive those people and yourself. You got to understand the lessons of the pain. And when you forgive those people, and when you understand the lessons, that does not mean that you're going to automatically be ready to jump in another relationship. That doesn't mean you're going to automatically open yourself up just to anybody. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that you're going to just be like haphazard in regards to your relationship, or in regards to you getting in another relationship. You're being kind of leery, if the truth be told. And it doesn't mean that you haven't healed. It just means, man, I'm real peculiar now. I'm real particular now. I'm just not accepting anything and everything. And as if the truth be told, man, if we're really honest, it's one thing to trust God. It's another thing to trust somebody else with your heart. Why? Because the last time you trust somebody with your heart, you got hurt. The last few times you trusted somebody with your heart, you got disappointed and you were hurt. See, it's easy to grow from that. Well, it ain't real easy, but you got to put the work in. And once you put the work in, it's okay. It's easy to grow from that. It's easy to heal from that pain and that suffering and that trauma. Just because you heal from it doesn't mean that you're just ready to jump in another relationship and you're willing to allow somebody to come in. Why? Because you know what? You understand the process. You trust God. And here's the tricky part. The last time you trust God, you trusted the process. You got hurt. If the truth be told, you didn't think that person was going to do you the way they did. You didn't think you was going to go through all the pain and the suffering in that relationship, or because of that relationship. When you got in that relationship, you thought, man, this is it. Man, I'm so in love. This person's so in love. Man, this person accepts me. This person loves me. This person makes me laugh. And man, we could just play and I could just be me. I could just let my hair down. I don't feel judged and da-da-da-da. Man, this is my soulmate. This is my twin flame. This is my ride or die. This is my everything, until they break your heart. This is my everything until they abandon you and reject you and kick you to the motherfucking curb. Now you're sitting there like, what the fuck? God, I thought you gave this person to me. God, I thought this was the one. And then you grow through that and you heal and you deal with all that pain and that suffering. And now you're like, I don't really have to have a relationship. See, if the truth be, in the past, I jumped in relationships because, man, I thought I had to have one. In the past, I jumped in relationships because I was lonely. In the past, I jumped in relationships because it was easy. Man, it made life a whole lot easier financially. Man, you cool, I'm cool, we get along. Man, when you got goals, I got goals. We want to accomplish things and da-da-da-da. Okay, cool, let's do this. And you find out that their goals ain't in alignment with your goals. You find out that a lot of the things that they were saying, they don't really believe. A lot of the things that they were doing with you ain't necessarily something that they really wanted to do. They just went along with the program because they were lonely. They just went along with the program because they thought you were a come up for them. They just went along with the program because the sex was all of that. They went along with the program because, the truth be told, they were using you for whatever reason. They needed a place to stay. They knew that they were going to get evicted. You were a bounce back. They had just got out of a difficult situation. They had just got out of a hard situation. And they wanted to show that person, I don't need you. I got somebody else. And they look better than you. They have more than you. There's a whole lot of reasons why other people get in relationships. And you don't really know the real reason why they got in a relationship with you. You don't know the real reason why they're attached to you. You don't really know if they like you like they say they do. You don't really know if they're in love with you like they're putting on. And oftentimes, it's not until later, after you've gotten invested in the situation, after you're madly in love with them, that the truth comes out. And you realize they don't feel you like that, you feel them. They don't care about you like you care about them. They don't even like you like them. They just needed you at the time. Now things are okay with them. They don't really need you. And because they don't really need you, they don't really want you. But you're madly in love. We're talking about trust. And so relationships, man, trust is hard. We're talking about trust when it comes to your heart. After you've gotten hurt so many times in the past, after you've gotten disappointed so many times in the past, it's hard to trust. It's hard to trust. If the truth be told. Because you just don't know. And the only way that you're ever going to really know is by you taking that chance. But every other time you took that chance, you got hurt. You got disappointed. You got fucked over. So you're not as willing to take that chance now. You want love. You want to be loved. But you're scared. You want to be loved. But you're nervous. You want to be loved. But you don't know if that's the one. You don't know if they're telling you the truth. You don't know if they're faking the funk. You don't know if they're pretending. And so the truth is, so many of us, because you don't know, and because you're scared of getting hurt again, you're scared of getting disappointed again, you don't have another one left in you of, man, getting my heart broke, of getting crushed, of being taken through the ringer again. So many of us, we've been dogged the fuck out financially. We've been raped financially. And it took us so long to come out of that. So we've gone through the ringer of our reputation and our character, been put on blast and just lied on and just dogged the fuck out. And so you're kind of leery. You're kind of hesitant of giving somebody else that type of power. You're kind of leery, kind of, I don't know, when it comes to love again. You want love, but you don't want the pain and the suffering and the trauma that's been associated with the love of our past. And that's the part that we don't get. That's the part that we really don't understand. Because every time I've loved in the past, we got hurt. They said all the right things. They did all the right things. We prayed about it. We fasted on it. And whoop-doo-doo. And it just seemed just so right. It seemed as though they were sent from God. And a lot of times, God allowed them into your life. And God allowed them into your life because there's some things that God wanted to work on. God orchestrated for this person to come into your life, for you guys to get connected, because He knew that you guys were going to have these falling outs, and it was going to trigger you, and it was going to fuck you up. And in the process of it fucking you up, God also knew that you were going to do your work, your shadow work. And you were going to dive deep into understanding the pain and the trauma and the reasons and the lessons behind this. And because of that, you were going to grow from that. But God still allowed for you to fall in love, knowing that you would be crushed by it. Then God allowed you to fall in love again. And for you to be crushed again. Why? Because there were more lessons that you needed to learn. There were more things you need to learn about you that you can't learn when you're not in a relationship. You can only learn some lessons while you're intimately connected to somebody else. And that's the fucked up part. That's the scary part. So many of us is like, yeah, I'm good. we have a great relationship. We could hang out. We could kick it. We could chop it up and all that other stuff. But as far as falling in love, man, that's for the birds. Fuck the bullshit. We could fuck, we could suck, we could kick it, we could eat, we could drink, we could do whatever you want to do. But man, ain't no emotions involved. You know what I mean? Ain't none of that shit popping off. Why? Because we're scared that this situation is going to lead to more lessons. And I'm going to have to get my heart broke again. I'm going to have to become vulnerable and transparent again. And that's never really quite worked out for the great majority of us. And every time we've done that, we've gotten hurt. And yes, we've learned the lessons. And we grew and we set up healthy boundaries and we did this and we did that. But every time we got in those type of situations, it didn't end well for us in that regard as far as our hearts. We grew from it. Emotionally, spiritually. But it was a heavy price. And if the truth be told, the great majority of us ain't willing to pay that price again. The truth be told, the great majority of us are terrified of having to pay that price again. But we don't know what else God has planned for us. We don't know if there's another lesson attached to this person. We don't know if there's another heartbreak around the corner. We don't know if there's another disappointing, situation where they abandon us or they cheat on us or whatever the case may be. We don't know what God has planned for us in regards to this relationship. And that's scary. We say we trust God. And we do trust God. But not when it comes to relationships. Not when it comes to matters of the heart. We don't trust God. We don't trust God and we don't trust other people. We could trust God when it comes to finances. We could trust God when it comes to, am I going to get this job? Am I going to get this promotion? We could trust God when it comes to our health. But if the truth be told, when it comes to the matters of the heart, when it comes to matters of the heart of us falling in love with somebody else, we don't trust God. We want to trust God because we want to believe that it's going to work out. We want to believe that this is going to be my everlasting. I'm never going to have to go through this again. I'm never going to have to break up and get back together with somebody again. I'm never going to have to experience this type of pain and heartbreak again. We like to believe that. We want to believe that. But the truth is, we really don't. We don't. And we don't because of our experiences. Because of our past. We see the lessons. We see the blessings attached to the lessons. But we don't want to have to go through that fire again. We don't want to have to go through that pain and suffering and trauma again. It says if the lessons and the blessings wasn't worth the pain and suffering. Nah. And so most of us, we're good. We'll pass. It ain't worth it. And that's why so many of us choose to stay single. We ain't got to deal with the headache. We ain't got to deal with the drama. We ain't got to deal with the bullshit. We ain't got to deal with other people's issues. Their unresolved baby daddy issues, their unresolved daddy issues, their unresolved mama issues. We ain't got to deal with nobody else's bullshit. We could just sit here in life and enjoy our life and deal with our own stuff. Process our own stuff. Because we don't know how much madness, how much pain, how much trauma that other person still has. And you'll never know until you get knee deep in the relationship. You'll never know how much trauma they haven't resolved. It don't matter how much they talk about growth and development. It don't matter how much they talk about how much they've grown and woo-doo-doo. You'll never know how much more they need to grow, how much more they need to heal, and how that healing is going to affect your life. How that unhealed stuff is going to affect your life. You don't know. And you can't know until you take that chance. Is it worth it? That's a question you're going to have to come up with on your own. I can't tell you. Man, my hope and prayer is that I said something to encourage you, to inspire you, to challenge your way of thinking. Or to even just make you sit there and ponder some things about life, where you're at. Can you be honest with yourself? We don't stand in judgment. Whether you ever get in another relationship or not, man, ain't got nothing to do with none of us. You got to live your life. I just want you to truly understand why you're making the decisions you're making. Happy healing. I love you. Peace.